Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video I'm going to be making, I think it's the 7th easy crochet scarf tutorial for beginners for you, and I think I'm going to go to 10. That's the goal for right now, and then take a little break and do some other tutorials, and then we can always revisit these easy crochet scarves. So yes, today's going to be another easy, quick pattern, a pattern you should be able to complete your scarf in about an hour, or a little bit more maybe, or a little bit less. Depends on how fast you crochet. And so yeah, let's get right into it. Things you will need include a pair of scissors and a darning, weaving, tapestry needle. You're going to need some yarn. This calls for 5mm size crochet hook, and that is US, but you guys know, if you've been watching my videos as of late, I use 7mm US hook. Okay, and you only need one skein. So these are the 4 things you need. Let's get to the tutorial. Alright, so we're gonna start with a slip knot. Twist like that, put that over that, pull this over that one and off your finger while pulling up. Insert your crochet hook and pull to tighten. By the way, if you're wondering where I got this yarn, I got it over a year ago, maybe even over a year and a half ago from Hobby Lobby. I can never find, I love this yarn online, at least not on Amazon, so I don't have a link for you. Alright, so we're going to start out by chaining a certain number of chains, obviously, right? Sorry, I'm being silly. I know you guys are wondering what the multiples are. So any number of chains, basically, and then plus 2 for the foundation chain. Okay, so I am going to chain out 15 chains. 1, 2, and I kind of like this tie-dye yarn. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay. For me, that's going to be wide enough for a scarf. And then plus the 2 more for the foundation chain. So 1, 2. Okay. Now we're going to work into the 4th chain from the hook. So this is the 1st chain from the hook. That's the 2nd chain from the hook. This is the 3rd chain from the hook, and this right here, that bluish one with the white there, that's the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put a double crochet into it. So yarn over once, enter the chain, and you guys know I like to get 2 loops on there when I go through a chain. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops. Sorry, my phone is going off. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. I'll do another one. Yarn over, enter the very next chain, which is there, like that. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. And you're just going to continue putting 1 double crochet in every chain across. Okay, I will meet you once we get to this final chain there, and I'm going to answer my phone because it's like really going off a lot. See you there. Alright, so that should be the end of the interruptions. So I put that last double crochet in that final chain, and when you count, including this series of 3 chains, or that chain 3, which was created by crocheting into the 4th chain from the hook when it was there, right? We're going to count this chain 3 as a stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's how many you should have across if you also chained out a total of 15 plus 2 for the foundation chain, equaling 17 chains. Okay? Now, at this point, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to turn our work. This chain 2 will count for that double crochet right below it, and we're going to work into the next chain. But what we're going to do is just put a front post double crochet into it. So the way you do that, and if you watched last week's video, you already know how to do this, but what you want to do is yarn over, come from the front to the back and come back out to the front just on the other side of that stitch. Yarn over, pull through to the front. You have your 3 loops like normal with any other double crochet. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that chain 2 counts for that one. This front post double crochet counts for that double crochet right below it. Now we're going to chain 1, okay, and we're going to skip this 3rd double crochet down there. That chain 1 will count for that double crochet below it, and then we're going to make another front post double crochet into the stitch thereafter. So we chained 1, we skipped 1, moving over here to this 4th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to put a front post on it. So yarn over, go from the front on the right side around to the back and back out to the front just on the other side of the stitch. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, now we're going to chain 1. This is the next one. We're going to skip 1 and go to this one, yarn over, front post again. Okay, and that's going to be the pattern for this row until we get to the end. Okay, so chain 1, skip 1, go to the next one, yarn over, and front post with that next one. Okay, this is the next one right there. So we chain 1, and we're going to skip 1 and go into the next one. Remember, those chain 1s count for the double crochets that we skip below. Okay, so this one is for that one, and notice we didn't work into it, right? Then we did a front post, then we chained 1, but we skipped 1. Then we did another front post, we chained 1, and we skipped 1. We did another front post, we chained 1, we skipped 1. Okay, and now we did this front post, so we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip 1 and work over here and put a front post there, like that. Now we're going to chain 1, skip this one, go into this one and put a front post there. I think I accidentally crocheted into that instead of going all the way around it. I kind of split it. Alright, and then for this last chain 3 there, we're just gonna put a front post, or basically you're just crocheting into that chain 3 space like that. Okay, see? And we'll call it front post double crochet. So this is what you have for row 2. So basically, we're gonna alternate between the very first row, which is just all double crochets, and this front post row. Okay, so chain 2, 1, 2, give myself some slack. Okay, so we chain 2, and I want to show you one thing before I turn my work. Just want to show you the symmetry. So notice at the beginning you have this chain 3 and then that front post right next to it, and then at the end we have these 2 stitches right next to each other. Okay, so the spaces come after you have the consecutive stitches, and then after this last space you have, it ends with the consecutive stitches, so it is symmetrical, because you guys know how big of a symmetry freak I am. Alright, so I chained 2, let's turn my work, and this side we're going to be doing front posts in the actual double crochets that are there. We're going to make front post double crochets in those, and in these chain 1 spaces, there, and there, and there, we're going to just put regular double crochets into that chain 1 space. So let me show you what I mean. So this chain 2 right there counts for that. This is the next double crochet, so we yarn over and do a front post. You guys know how to do a front post now. Okay, then you have this chain 1 space. We just yarn over, enter that space like that, yarn over, pull it through to the front, and make a double crochet. Now we're at this double crochet, so we make a front post, yarn over from the front, and these spaces really help you to see what's going on. So from the front, around and back out to the front like that, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2. Alright, So we work there, but don't forget this chain 1 space right there, and we just put a regular double crochet. Alright, front post, regular double crochet in the chain 1 space. Front post, regular double crochet in the chain 1 space there. Front post, regular double crochet in the chain 1 space right there. Front post, regular double crochet in the chain 1 space there. And then we're going to end with 2 consecutive front posts. So front post, double crochet, and then in this chain 3 space, or I'm sorry, in that chain 3, another front post by just going into the chain 3 space. Okay? So now this has become solid again. We don't have any gaps. So it'll look like row 1. Okay? Row 3 and row 1 will look the same. So you're going to alternate between that type of row and this one, which we're about to do, which will be just like row 2 with the gaps. So chain 2, turn your work, and remember you want to put a front post in that one. Okay, now chain 1, remember this pattern, skip 1, which is there, and go into the next one and put a front post there. Okay, so just so you can see what I did, chain 2, did a front post in that one, then I chained 1 and I skipped 1 and I put a front post in that 4th one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to chain 1 again. This is the 5th one. We're going to skip that and put a front post into the next one. Okay, and that's the pattern for this row and every row like this. Chain 1, skip 1, front post in the next one, the one thereafter. Chain 1, skip 1, front post in the one thereafter. Chain 1, skip 1, front post in the one thereafter. Chain 1, skip 1, and then front post in the one thereafter, and technically it's going to be in the last 2 because this chain 3 is there, right? So we're going to front post in it as well. Chain 2, and you're going to turn your work. Okay, so this is the pattern, you guys. Okay, so it's gonna make this nice textured pattern with these rows that have these gaps. Okay, and then you're gonna alternate that with the solid rows. So this next one is gonna be a solid row, and let me just work it just so you can see one more time. All right, so front post into the next one. And by the way, we did chain 2, turned our work. This is the next one. It's kind of hiding back there. Front post in the next one, and then yarn over, regular double crochet in that chain 1 space. Front post in the next one, and then chain 1, or then double crochet in that chain 1 space. I'm jumping the gun. Front post in the next one, and then double crochet in that next chain 1 space. Front post in the next one, then double crochet in the chain 1 space. Front post in the next one, then regular double crochet in the chain 1 space. Front post in the next one, and then double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then we end with 2 front posts, one in the last 2 stitches, and then don't forget this chain 2. I think I might have said chain 3 before. I meant chain 2 at the end. Okay, it's because sometimes I use a series of 3 chains for my double crochets, but I'm using only chain 2 for them in this pattern. Okay, So yes, this is the pattern. So depending on how you're looking at it, it looks different. Like from this view, it kind of looks solid, but then you rotate, you see the gaps, and it gives like a nice texture. Okay. And then chain 2, turn your work. And then this is the one where, remember that very next stitch, you front post. Okay. And then you start the chain 1, skip 1, front post in the one thereafter. And you guys know I like to get into a rhythm. Chain 1, skip 1, front post in the one thereafter. Chain 1, skip 1, front post in the one thereafter. And you guys know when I say front post for this pattern, I mean front post double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, front post in the one thereafter. Chain 1, skip 1, front post in the one thereafter. Then chain 1, skip 1, front posts in these final 2. Remember, the final 2 stitches are always consecutive. We want them, and don't forget that chain 2 on the end. We want them to be consecutive just like the first 2 were consecutive stitches, so there's no chain 1. Okay? So I'm going to work on this for a while, and then I will get back on once I get to my desired length, and it's time to wrap this scarf up. This is really fun though. Alright guys, I will see you there. So I've been working on this for a little bit, and I'm just going to do a couple more rows just to make sure that you guys got it. Okay, so you see I just did the front post, chain 1, skip 1 row. So now I'm going to chain 2, turn my work. Alright, and remember, you always put a front post in that next one for this row. And then because this has the chain 1 spaces, we just put a regular double crochet into the chain 1 spaces. So next one is front post there, front post double crochet, and then there's the chain 1 space there for regular double crochet. Front post. My yarn is getting caught on something. I think it just freed itself. Regular double in the chain 1 space. Front post, double crochet in the chain 1 space. Front post, double crochet in the chain 1 space. Front post, double crochet in the chain 1 space. And then when you're down to these last 2, that stitch and then that chain 2, you just front post in both of them. Front post, and then front post into the chain 2 space, which is basically just a regular double crochet. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to chain 2, turn our work. Alright, another way to know which stitches you're going to put the front post into are the stitches. Well, another way is to look at the stitches that are sitting behind. Okay, so if you look at these 3 on the end, you can see that center one is the stitch that's behind, so that means it should get the front post. Okay, so I chain 2, I'm yarning over, front post double crochet, and I just go in there, kind of bring it to the front so I can yarn over and then create that front post double crochet. Now I chain 1, skip 1, and that takes me to the next stitch that's kind of sitting back there, right there. Okay, so if you and I'm sure you've probably noticed that already, chain 1, alright, skip 1, and it takes you to the next one that's sitting in back. So an easy way to know which one to front post around for this row, chain 1, is just to look for the very next one that's sitting in back. Assuming you've kept up with the pattern, chain 1, skip 1, here's the next front post there. Chain 1, skip 1, and that front post is sitting back there. And that's where we're going to put the one for this row. Chain 1, this is also something that I want to show you. So looking at this, you might only see 2 stitches. You might only see that one, that regular double crochet, and then this chain 2 on the end. But remember, you're skipping 1, and then you're going to the next one. And the reason that you could miss it is because it's in back, right? So just kind of stretch it out a little bit, and then you see that stitch in the center there appears. That's in back, and that's where you want to put your front post. Double crochet. And then as always, you want to just front post into that chain 2 space, or you can just call it a regular double crochet. Alright, for symmetry purposes, I want to create a row of just double crochets because that's how I started. So I'm going to do that here. So chain 2, 1, 2, turn my work. Alright, and you know what, I think I'm just going to make it like every other row like this. So I front post in that first one, regular double crochet in the chain 1 space, front post in the next one, double crochet, front post, double crochet. I know one of you messaged me and said that you still have yet to complete one of these scarves in an hour, and as I told her, don't worry so much about the time. The point is that you're enjoying the experience, and that making these easy crochet scarf for beginners are not taking you days on end, you know? You don't have to have that much delayed gratification to benefit from making these scarves, and that's really what I want to achieve. Okay, alright, so that's how I'm going to end it. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to cut my yarn. I left enough so I can weave that tail in and pull fast enough. Now I'm going to use my darning weaving tapestry needle here, and I'm going to feed the yarn through the eye of the needle. Alright, and I'm just going to work through some stitches in one direction. Alright, pull on one side, and hopefully you get the loose side first, and then go back in the other direction through a slightly different path. You guys know I like to come out the side, it's just my personal preference. Alright, cut this down without cutting your work. And then we can go back to the beginning, do the same thing with this tail that was created when we made the slip knot at the very beginning. And once again, just kind of weave through some stitches. I like to weave them through the base of the stitches at the very beginning, because the before row 1 is basically just the series of chains. So alright, and just pull it through. Alright, and then you can cut this down as well. Alright, and this is what you have, you guys. So isn't this just an awesome pattern? Like, I love this, and I don't know which side I like better, because you have that one where the stitches, I mean, on both the stitches are kind of sitting behind. You have these ridges, but there's a different look, because with this one it looks like you're looking at the back of the stitches, and this one looking at the front of the stitches. And you know, when I conceptualized this scarf, I didn't really think about it, but I feel like this scarf will look really good with tassels, you know. So I think I might add some tassels to this one. You guys let me know what you think if you want to see a video with me just adding some tassels. Okay, alright guys, that is going to be it for this video, but you know, I will see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.